Hi there, I've got a quick opportunity to show you this Windows 8 tablet from Fujitsu. It's called the Q572 and it's a stylistic series tablet, much like the Q702 that I've shown you recently, but this one is a 10-inch version. It's a smaller tablet than the 11.6-inch Q702, but it looks, as you can see, very similar to the Q702. It's got a very similar sort of looking design about it, in the typical Fujitsu understated design style. As you can see, it's running a full version of Windows 8 Professional, including the desktop, so this is a tablet that we can run all of our native desktop applications on, as well as the Windows Store apps. It's got a 1366 by 768 display resolution, same as the Q702, and the Q572 has very similar screen brightness, so it'll be quite comfortable to view outside. It has a non-glossy matte finish screen as well, which is great. Great wide viewing angle display, as you can see here. As I turn it around, you get a little bit of reflection there due to the lighting in this room, but you can see that we've got a great viewing angle, which is really essential for tablets. Now, I forgot to charge the tablet before I started this video, so I've had to plug it into power here. But one of the beauties of the Q572, and it's quite unique in this form factor, in this 10-inch screen form factor, is that the Q572 actually has a removable battery, which is pretty amazing for a tablet that is very lightweight. In fact, the Q572 only weighs 730 grams, so it's pretty amazing to have a nice small form factor tablet like this weighing as much as the typical consumer tablets do. That's around about the same weight as an iPad, for example, but having a removable battery, so that's a real true business feature. You'll expect to get about 6 hours of battery life out of that one battery, but it can be removed and easily swapped in the field or anywhere. In 2 or 3 years' time, when that battery's reached the end of its life, it'll be easy just to get a new upgrade battery and replace it, which is a fantastic feature of this tablet. Now, I should say about the Q572, this tablet is clearly targeted at business users, at corporate rollouts. It's not targeted at consumers like an iPad or a Galaxy or something like that. This is a tablet that firmly fits within the scope of corporate tablet rollouts, and that's where Fujitsu really specialised. They've been doing it for years. Now, just while we're on that fact, one of the key things about the Fujitsu and what they've done with both the Q702 and the Q572 is that they've actually made these tablets serviceable. Now, Fujitsu actually offer a business grade next day on-site warranty, which is quite unique for a tablet device. But the thing that makes that on-site warranty actually possible is the fact that you can see here there's a couple of little lugs there that I can remove to reveal a couple of screws, and I can actually remove the back of this tablet. Now, I don't recommend that you do that, but it is actually serviceable, and so a technician can come along here and remove the cover, remove the battery, and he could replace something like a hard drive, a motherboard or a screen on site in your office. Unfortunately, most other tablets, like say for example this HP that I've got here, the screens are actually glued together and they're not really serviceable at all. There's no, as you can see on the back of this HP Elite Pad here, there's no way to actually open this machine up. And in fact, oftentimes the screens are actually glued in place, so that a technician can't practically do any repairs to a tablet like this in the field. Whereas with the Fujitsu, technician can actually come out and open up the tablet and make repairs in the field. That's something that's very unique, and it's very important for mission critical applications where this type of tablet will be deployed. Two more important corporate features that I want to show you with the Q572. Like the Q702, it actually has a fingerprint reader here for security. Fantastic feature for security. This, if you have to log onto your tablet 20 or 30 times a day when it goes to sleep, there's nothing worse than having to punch in your password every time. But with the Q572, you can simply just swipe your finger through on the back there like that, and you'll get logged in, just as simple as that. Another security feature or an option that you can use is actually just in the top here. If you can see that, there's actually a smart card reader here. So if you had a smart card or a single sign-on authentication device, you could actually just pop that smart card in there and you could use that to log onto the system as well. When it comes to connectivity, Q572's got the USB port on the side here, a full-size HDMI port. You've got audio out on this side here. On the other side, you've got a second USB port, and you've got your standard buttons for Windows, including volume up and down and screen rotation. You've also got a hardware wireless on-off switch, which is great for flight mode. You can just simply flick the hardware switch to turn off your 3G and your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth radios in the device. One more connection just to point out here is the docking connector on the bottom here. There is a standalone desktop dock for this tablet that has 3 USB ports on it and an Ethernet port. So we can use this in the office to sync up with the network or interface with other devices. And lastly, of course, we've got an SD card reader, full size as well, which is great because it's always possible to adapt that down to a micro SD, whereas it's not possible to go the opposite direction. On the front, we've got a webcam, and on the back we've got a 5 megapixel camera there for taking in-field photographs. Fujitsu for this tablet have chosen not an Intel processor, but actually an AMD processor. And that AMD processor is the Z-60 processor. Compared to the Atom series tablets, you get much better performance out of the AMD powered Fujitsu Q572. A couple of other things about that. Because of the AMD, or the choice of the AMD processor, you'll see that this tablet here is it's running 2 gigabytes, but we can actually run up to 4 gigabytes of RAM in this tablet. We're also running a 64-bit operating system, which is a really brilliant feature. A lot of corporates have gone with a 64-bit SOE deployment for Windows 7 and Windows 8. This tablet does support Windows 7 as well as Windows 8, but if you're running 64-bit, you can't run that on the Atom processors that's found in a lot of the other 10-inch tablets. So AMD has the capability to run that 64-bit operating system. It also has the capability to take advantage of more than 2 gigabytes of RAM, which the Atom processors can't do. The one negative about the Q572 is the fan that it does need to run to keep that processor cool. It's a little bit noisy, but I guess most applications for this tablet are not going to be in lounge rooms. This is not the kind of tablet that you'd buy to surf the net on your couch. This is a tablet that's going to be rolled out to corporate field inspectors and people like that who are working out in the field and walking around with the tablets in noisy environments anyway. They probably won't even notice the fan noise. And having the fan there will mean that overall the unit gets kept cooler. So the Q572 is much better placed in terms of performance than the other tablets. Now, of course, you've already seen here that the Q572 has a really nice touch interface, but it also, of course, has the N-Trig Active Digitizer pen, the same one that comes with the Q702 from Fujitsu. It also comes with a lot of other tablets as well. It's a standard N-Trig pen, but of course we can swap and change this. We could use the better Fujitsu 2-button pen that has a finer tip, or another example of that is this Sony N-Trig pen that comes with the Sony Vaio Duo 2. This one here has a much finer tip and 2 buttons on it, and it's a little bit nicer to write on the screen with, so I'll go ahead and use that. I'm going to just bring up a Microsoft Journal here just so that we can do a little bit of scribbling in there. Of course, the tablet has the standard Windows 8 handwriting recognition capability, but as you can see, it does really well, and there's very little lag there in using the pen, and it works really well. So the Q572 is really designed for corporate tablet deployment. Kind of place that you might expect to see this is in a hospital, at a local council or a government agency with staff who are out in the field collecting data. You might also see it being used by salespeople out on the road, for example. Different corporate applications like that where an IT department needs to manage and maintain control of device. We want to implement good security practices and policies, but also make our life, the life of the end user, easy. Things like the fingerprint reader and the smart card reader options make this Fujitsu a much better option than any of the other tablets that are out there in this low cost form factor.